Vivian.exe is online. Greetings programs. How is everyone this evening? We would like to apologize that there was no stream last Friday or Saturday. Naka hurt himself. He hurt his back pretty bad and has been recovering. It happened on Friday, and at the time it was very difficult for him to do much of anything, much less stream. He is feeling much better now, though he is still recovering. There should still be a normal stream tomorrow where you could ask him questions more specifically. He has, as it turns out, been quite bored this last week since he has been unable to do so many things. It is a bit funny that he wants nothing but time so he can finish things and get things done, and then when he is given it, he does not know what to do with it. He has taken the opportunity to catch up on a few games that he has been unable to play. Has been on a backlog, and he has been getting some work done on the jumping flash mod as well as the idle game. I do not know yet what his plans are for tomorrow's stream, but hopefully he is back and able. Proper update. In the meantime, on one hand I do want to get back to House Flipper, but on the other hand, I do mostly want my time to be a relatively relaxed time streaming. Period. And I want to play something that I personally want to play at the moment. Which is why we played Eldritch last week, though that was not the most relaxed game. And today we are going to be playing Shapez 2. This is a relatively new game. Is a factory-style game. And it is fairly relaxing. You get to spend your time looking at systems and figuring out not only how to do things, but then how to improve. I have already played for a fair amount. I have completed the first 3 milestones, which unlocked a number of things for us. Now, beyond our resident factory making, we can also zoom out to find some other islands out here that we can travel to. I am not going to be interacting with it much today. I have deleted pretty much everything that I built, and would like to catch up instead on some of the milestones. Or no, not milestones, the tasks that I am yet to complete. These are things that will let us later buy upgrades with research points. So how the game works is we have little dispensers here, and these will output shapes. These are outputting these round ones. And the ones down here are outputting these square ones. And it is our job to cut apart, shuffle around, and recombine these shapes to make specific shapes that they're asking us for. So, let us see here. We need a half of a circle on top of half of a circle and half of a square on top of half of a square. This is going to take so that will do that. Now both of these are facing the same direction. I will also want to do this for the squares. I am mostly trying to figure out how I can do this more efficiently. But I am not entirely convinced that I can do it as efficiently as I would like. Stackers are relatively expensive to use, unfortunately. And I believe I am going to need 3 stackers for this job. We are going to want to do the same thing with the squares down here. These are all on the right side. No, I do not think I need all of these stackers. And I do not think I even need this. That puts them on the left side. So that is not what I want. I do not actually want the rotator here. There we are. That should do it. Now the only concern is that this is somewhat inefficient. I believe 3 of these usually get this moving at full speed. Oh. That would be a problem. I was only using one of our stackers. Wait, how did you get up here? We need to get more on the bottom. Why are there so many on the top and so few on the bottom? It should be evenly distributed. I suppose they are going in and out at the same rate, so even though the top is full, it is still working correctly. So perhaps there is not much else to do. Okay then, what else do we need done? Oh, this one is going to be a bit complicated. Can you use our second square for this? So I only need 1 square. So that should get us 1 square, and then this one I can divide between both of the bottom checks. I also need a quarter circle. I will need a quarter circle and a whole circle. And a half circle. I will need a lot from this one. Now in this situation I believe I can make use of this. There we are, a quarter, half, and whole circle. So that is in the lower right corner, which is where it needs to be, and that is the only one of those that I need. The quarter is in the upper right, which is the only place that I need. You do need to be spun around so you are on the left. And then the circle is fine as it is. So I need to combine the small and the quarter, and that is in the sherd. So that will give us that shape, which we actually need for both of them. So I can have this now go. To two different sets of stackers. The whole circle will go to 1. And that should be the completed shape that we need. And then the half circle combines with the other. I believe those are our two finished shapes. So we are being held up, but where specifically are we? So this is being held up. Which is understandable, this is a complicated process. So they should be producing them twice. Now how am I going to go about combining them? That, of course, is the easy way to combine those. It is a bit awkward, but I may just have to do something like this. And then I knew this is being held up. But then this is going to be held up on the bottom, because I'm not getting enough from the top. This is true, we did complete a task. Which was this one. Now most of this equipment I do not need anymore. For this new task, I do not need the round ones at all. I will need the half squares. There must be an easier way to do this. Because I do want those on the side. I would just hate to have to rotate this twice, but I am unsure I can. There we are, and that is our piece. Meanwhile, we are still very backed up down here. Though I suppose that is understandable. Because this is raw squares coming in. I have done nothing to separate these out. So this is getting fed at full speed, whereas this is being fed to 3 different locations. So I am really only using one of every 3 squares that comes in down here. I could not really send more squares down here, I would simply have to rebuild this entire structure. So we may be set. Just as it is. Why are these not working? Is it because this is backed up? This refuses to cut and send them to the top because the bottom is backed up. But the bottom is backed up because it is waiting for pieces from the bottom over here, which is waiting, which is backed up. Here because it's waiting for pieces from the top, because it's waiting for pieces up here. It is causing its own roadblock. So how would I go about solving this task? I know there is a button. There we are. I just cleared the contents of everything. I do not know if that will help. But I am hoping that once all of these systems get moving, they will be moving at an appropriate enough speed to not get backed up again. If they do get backed up again, then we will have to look for a solution. What about the top red task? The 2 milestone tasks I am not going to be worrying about right now. Now, I'm going to be focusing on the side tasks. So then we are starting to move again. Period. The tops are backing up. Yes, the tops are backing up again. But why? With 6 stackers. This should be operating at an even throughput. Everything else is only going through the one. There is no delay. Yes, but it is going to back up again. I believe I simply have too many of these. I do not know how to get around this, so I am simply going to make less of them. So what I need is this top section. So I'm going to make a cutter. No, I want the other section. There we are. Now that is moving correctly, and we have half as many now going on to the bottom. This is always going to be backed up. I do not know what I can do about that. What is important? No, these are backing up as well, which means we are backing up here. Alright, the top is moving a bit faster. We are no longer backing up at our source. We completed a task. Oh, it was this one. Well, that was a fairly easy one. And then we can begin working on the next one, which is again fairly easy. This is going to be a little bit awkward, but it's going to work out in the end. Oh, are you not going to let me do that? And then we split them amongst the top and bottom. And they are coming out the correct shape. Now meanwhile down here I believe we can speed this up considerably. Oops. 1. Sorry, I am not sure if that actually went through. One moment, please. I have to do something very quickly. Apologies for the delay. Oh, we completed one. Oh, we completed. Oh no, it was not that one. It was this one that we completed. Well, now we need to do the same thing except with an entire circle on top of it. Which actually works because we have a surplus of circles. I have not built myself a lot of space. Mostly I just want to move this down. Then I have space here to work. I suppose this is getting enough surplus circles. And that is what we are looking for. Oh, we also completed that one. So we want a half circle on top instead of a full circle. I could just put this through a cutter, which would be the easiest thing. Yes, I think that is what I will do because I only have this many half circles, and they are not quite filling what they need to fill. I think it would be more efficient to simply cut these. Well, this is a bit of spaghetti, but it is getting the job done. I'm only using one of our circles and both of our squares. Now that I think about it, would it not be easier to take these and stop making these entirely? These are being held up here because I do not have enough circles. So now the circles are just getting put directly over here, which should speed this up. Because this is all backing up right here. So with more tops, this should be going much faster. And then I can very simply just do this. This is entirely self-contained, and it is making squares as fast as I am sending them. And I only need a 1 bit of square for everything over here. So it does not matter what I do, these squares will always be backed up. I am simply producing too many of them. So where are things being backed up? Then we could speed things along. The quarter circles are being backed up. Because this is being backed up. Because this is being backed up. So we need more halves. Which is what I stopped producing last time. Because we were making too many of them. So that should allow us to produce many more halves. I am beginning to not like this splitter. Supposedly it saves a step, but I've found it's mostly just slowing me down. This is quite the big bit of spaghetti here, and I think it is mostly because of this splitter. That is now making far more of those, and far fewer of these. Hello, Nefer. And Garci, hello. So this is a factory game. There are some producers, such as the circles, and down here it produces squares, and it is our job to change these through cutting and rotating and stacking into various other shapes that we are asked to make. The goal is to try to do this as efficiently as possible. And an amount of that is because we are given a large quantity that we need to make. So of course you can simply produce them very inefficiently and then wait a long time, but if you keep tinkering you can slowly make it work faster and faster to reach your goal faster. It is interesting because the goal of the game is actually to play the game less. But the experience of playing the game is figuring out how to do that. We are getting almost nothing down here now. I'm surprised nothing is backing up. Oh, these will start backing up. something that I noticed early on. Or at the very least the last time I played is when you split a conveyor belt. It is actually important how you go up about doing that. Yes, so I desperately need more of these. Because right now, the circles are being evenly distributed between 3 different destinations. But I do not need them evenly distributed. I actually need more going up top. Now this will send more up top. Because now it is sending 50% of what we make to this top one instead of only a third. And then the remaining 50% is being divided between these bottom two. So we are now making a quarter circles, a quarter half circles, and half quarter circles. And they will hopefully fill up this route on the bottom more now that I am making more of those than I am of the top. We have a surplus of squares going in the bottom, so the bottom will never be empty. And with 6 of these, this should always be working. So this should have an input and output of the same speed. And we should see, and we are seeing it, this clog is very slowly going away. I believe we will eventually want to return to having it all be evenly distributed. Hello, some guy. Naka is feeling better. It will be a little while before he is at full speed. I think once this clog goes away we will want to change this back to splitting it 3 ways. I just realized I have these set up in the absolute wrong order. Well, we can take a moment to solve that. also just completed a task. I believe that was the self-contained task, so I am not going to worry about that right away. There we are, we have unspaghettied our factory. We are now producing too many circles though, so now may be a good time. To redivide it amongst all three. And at this point, this should be rather efficiently working. Oh, that will be an interesting one. We actually need a quarter circle for that. So this is the same thing, we just need a quarter circle. I do not really have the space for that. Okay, so everything that they produce should go over here. Now we can take our circles, which we have not been using at all. And that should be what we need for that. I do not actually like this device being all the way down there. So we will get some weird blocks for a time, but it will eventually straighten itself out. And once again, this will always be backed up. There is not much that can be done about that. We are putting direct circles into the top of something else that needs to be processed significantly. Thank you for the super chat, Spectre. Could you tell Naka that I think his Minecraft series would make a better Minecraft movie than whatever we seem to be getting in the official Minecraft movie? Lots of good moments from it. Thank you very much, Spectre. We have not yet seen the trailer for the Minecraft movie, but we have heard that it is. This does not look particularly impressive. Perhaps it is simply aimed at a much younger audience. The demographic for Minecraft is quite large though. So it would be a bit sad if they relegate it to such a very young audience that not even the parents want to take them when the parents probably play as well. The bottom here is full. Why? Bye. These all should have an even throughput. I am producing so few up top, maybe it would be better instead of 6 to have fewer. We will see what 4 looks like. And see if it begins backing up. For a fully saturated belt, which would be this here, it requires 6. However, I am splitting it here so this should only require 3. And then I am splitting it again, so this should only require 2. This is going directly in, so it should be the same speed. I will however still remove 3. I wonder if that is also affecting what is going on down here. This is 1 full saturation, so this should be 6 that we need for this. But then we are splitting it off 3 ways. So this one should only need 2. I will cut all of those in half and see what happens. You would think having more of them would mean that it would actually work more efficiently, but that is not necessarily true. As instead of always sending one to one of the 3 sections, it will be forced to occasionally send them far down. Maybe it does not matter. I do not know. So we need to add another circle on top of that one. That is this one. That we do not need. So that one needs a circle added to it. That should be relatively easy. So where do I want to put this? So this is going to divide our circles in half. But that is what we need to make right there. This one on the other hand is done, so we may be able to split that to remove that one entirely. That is going to be a bit trickier to make, I think. Regardless, I do not think I need any of this for it. This is backing up now. The top and bottom are backing up, which means I simply do not have enough stackers. Or perhaps that was not the problem. The bottom is backing up here, which means I'm not bringing enough circles into the top. Especially now that I'm splitting the circles off. So it may be time that we go back here. And change our distribution again. So we are now sending in more raw circles. So this is backed up because this is backed up on the bottom because we don't have enough circles. So now we are getting in more circles. And with any luck that will resolve our problem. This section was very spaghetti early on. I'm glad that we have strained most of this out. I also have a lot of research points to spend. This swapper actually looks very good. Now wires seem a little more complicated. I still have more points to spend. I could make belts faster, but I think belts are fast enough. I need other tools to be faster. Perhaps stacking could be faster. So how will I go about making this? Could I use the swapper? It would be nice if I could use the swapper with an empty shape. Instead of the swapper, maybe it would be easier to use the cutter. Well, one of our tasks is nearly done, then we should be able to free up an amount of space before we begin on that. I do not think we need 6 here, but having 6 there does not appear to be hurting anything. And we have reached a kind of equilibrium. This one is going to be a while before it finishes, but this one is nearly done. We will see if anything follows that, otherwise I may be able to demolish most of this and get to work on a new shape. And there it is. Despite the minor difference, this new shape is actually going to be significantly different to build. Hello Finder X. That is our piece. Now where do we need more things? The top here is filling up. Faster than the bottom, but that may just be a matter of circumstance. It should stay even. And this is raw circles getting put in, so that is always going to be too fast. Because the bottom is being loaded in at half speed compared to top. And yes, the top is full, but it is not backing up. So that should be fine. Well, so much for clearing up space. And that ended up not being a terribly different thing I needed to build. Which I think was interesting on the designer's part. They laid that out in such a way that it would look like it would be very easy. But the easiest solution was simply changing the order that you were stacking in. Instead of making an entirely new stacker for the final piece. Well, since that is going to be a little while now, let us get back to thinking about how we are going to make this. So I'm going to start. And they should be outputting those pieces. And this will back up very quickly, which I am not concerned about right now. Because this backing up ensures that the rest of our systems continue working at full speed. Now we just need to figure this out. So I was thinking of perhaps using the cutter. Is there a way that I can do this? I do not think there is. So this one needs rotated one more. And then these just need stacked together. I have not left myself the room to do that. I've also not left myself room to stack anything. And that is our solution. So this is going to be very inefficient. But I think that is fine. So the top is moving too fast. The top is going to back up. No, because it is being split 50/50, so it is impossible to get pieces too fast on one side as opposed to the other. So there will be a slight delay. But it cannot get pieces faster. So this should be slow but working. Well, that was a nice side project then. If I split twice, I think I would need more stackers for that. Because using a second splitter would replace the 2 cutters that I have. But then that would produce twice as many. So it would be faster for sure, but I do not think our stacker could keep up with that. And I do not know if I have room for that. And very soon now I believe this entire contraption is going to be going away. Using the second splitter would definitely be twice as fast. I just do not have a lot of room right now, and it would require a decent amount of moving things. With this one going away soon though, we will see if this either goes away or turns into something else. And then I will know if I want to take the time to remake this. Because this does have a long way to go, we can certainly speed it up. I say as I begin working on it. So the circles are going to both. There we are. We are now getting the correct shapes. And then if I use a cutter, followed by the rotator. Now what do we need? This piece we do not need, so we can rotate it into something we do. And this piece we do not need, so we can rotate it into something we do. And that seems to be working. It at least looks like it is going faster. And this is a rather cumbersome process here, so it is backing up here, but that is fine. I'm taking a very strong lead of circles in here. In the meantime, I believe this one finished. Oh my, they want yet another circle on top of that. I mean, that is easily doable, but where am I going to get the circles? Why from right here? Would it be easiest to take from there? I am also considering how much spaghetti I feel like making. And this has even ensured that this continues working at the same speed, since I am not affecting any of the systems over here. And this is still always full. So the circles are still always backing up on top, which is fine. It does mean we are getting very few in the way of circles down here though, now that it is no longer backing up. That will ensure more circles go now. Period. And it does appear to still be getting plenty in. So the ones down here of course are few and far between, so this is going to be backing up. I wonder how many circles I truly need here. Well, the system is slow, but it is working. I can think about how I would improve it and what I should be doing instead. But in the end, this is a somewhat complicated system, and I'm just not sure. This one is very nearly done. And there we are. So what will it have me do next? Oh, it wants yet another circle on top. I need more circles. I do have plenty going here. I can certainly siphon some off of that. This entire system should be fine. I just need to add yet another stacker. This may mean I do actually want to figure out what is going on with this and how I can improve it. This will ensure more circles are entering this system. We should have effectively a full stream. Which should be enough to keep this top completely saturated. That certainly is an awkward way to do things. Surely there has to be a better way to do this. Now we have a proper full stream going in there, and then this is split 50%. A bit more than 50% because this one is often backed up. So how do I want to change how I am doing this? Well, once we clear it out, this is going to work. We are certainly not getting many circles all the way down anymore though. Which is something that I certainly could rectify. Or I could just wait for this to back up. And then the problem solves itself. I do not know if it will back up. I believe I could rectify that even more. But I think it backing up is taking care of the issue. Okay, that will rectify the issue even more. We will see though if something starts backing up when it doesn't need to. Now what finished? That one finished. Which is this one here? And it finished an entire line. Oh my, I do not know how to make any of those. We are going to need to go to space to get more. Well, we can at least finish these. And that means that this entire structure I can remove. All these squares being fed into only the one. These are also always backing up, so I wonder if I even need all of this. I am using squares for so little I can use only the one square input. I do not need both. Now we are backed up here, which is ensuring this now gets filled. So this is actually working quite well. It is a bit sad, I need squares for so little. That the squares are going to be backing up still. I need circles for everything. Thank you. I wonder if sending some more over to the right will speed things along. And then the other circles are being divided up 4 different ways. Both circles are being divided up 4 different ways. I believe this system is finally starting to back up. Which means the best thing that we could do is remake this. It is all being fed through the one splitter. Now this does not exactly work, because I cannot make a 4-way. But I can do that. Now if this backs up, I can always expand this. And now we are no longer backing up here. The circles are backing up here because there are not enough bottoms. This is a fairly large nightmare that I am still trying to wrap my head around. And the squares are backed up, but they will always be backed up. I simply do not need as many squares as I am producing. I need far more circles. Oh, we finished one. Well, doubling our production seems to have helped. Oh, and there is no task beyond that one. Which means everything we did here can go away. Which is actually somewhat nice because I can get rid of my spaghetti forks. Which means this is one more location that I do not need. Squares 4. Well, now I have a full stream of circles going both ways, so I no longer need this weird bridge. But then how can I speed this up? I have circles going to 5 locations. That should speed this up considerably. Because now this solid stream is being split 2 ways, each to 1 location. And then this solid stream is being split 3 ways. Though half of that is to only 1 location. Though I suppose that one is backed up, so it backing up will probably solve my dilemma. Now the bottom of this will always back up, and there is very little that can be done about that. Yes, these are backed up. And they are backed up because the top is going to be slower than the bottom. There is very little that can be done about that because the top will naturally be slower than the bottom. The top is going to 3 places instead of 2. And the stacker does say it only needs 4.5 stackers for a solid stream. This should not be a solid stream though, it should only be half of a solid stream. So I should only need 3. And technically I think these top 2 can both be 2. One stacker is not going to hurt anyone though. Now if I really wanted to speed this up, there are other locations over here where I can grab more circles. Or even over here, these are not the only 2 dispensers, there are 2 more. How we finished. And that completes it. That is all of the research that we can do for now. We have 25 points to spend. The vortex inputs are relatively cheap, I should probably do them sooner. Or at least it was cheap. I have not yet had the need for a trash. Labels would probably come in handy eventually. Things moving faster is always nice. Though I do wonder how much it will actually help. So I think I can upgrade belts and labels and trash. And everything below that has to do with space. And then vortex inputs going up too. Thank you. The next is perhaps one of the least important ones. So next we have to work on milestones. There is very little we can do else. But that does also mean our job here is done. And we are now ready for more work. From here though we have to go out into space. There are simply pieces and colors that I do not know how to do. So painting is still locked behind the current milestone. So I will not be able to paint until I finish this milestone. Which means I have to go into space to find those colors. Hello MD. So where would one go? Oh, you can find colors. This is a barren land. And there is blue up here. I wonder what you would do with these though. What can you extract? It is red so I cannot actually place it there. Well, there are very few places with colors. And then I can make feeders. And then we get to go on the highway. Did the shapes just plop out here? Oh, there they are. Does our highway fill up, I wonder? Oh yes, the highway stops. Oh my. Well, we can worry about that soon. We also need red. So that would be these? Why can I not zoom out more? Oh, I had clicked on the wrong thing. And there we are. As long as I am here. We might as well send them all over. Oh, oops, wrong one. Now we should have a full stream of both coming over. And these should all be relatively easy to deal with as I am just cutting off the right side. And this one I'm making 2 cuts to. I missed a cutter. Now direction does not matter, so that should be done. Now this is very inefficient because I am sending in such a strong signal. But I am also doing it 4 times. I could make this notably more efficient if I wanted to. Well, that is at least somewhat more efficient. Now those numbers should be going up much faster. Split and then rotate and then cutter. I would need to make a considerable number of those for that to work. That would certainly be more efficient though. I think we are doing quite fine though. Every single one of these going in is going towards our goal. And we are getting up there quite quickly. I'm curious to see what the next goal beyond this is going to be, but I may be wrapping up soon. I do not want to overtax myself or overtax Naka. It is very interesting. Now once you really get working on this and start building larger things, it starts to look like a circuit board. Especially when you organize nicely. But then I suppose that is what a circuit board is, really. We are making circuits. Shape circuits. Oh, this is going to be fairly easy. How many stackers do I have to build? So our tops are here. And they should do it. And it is really the same thing over here. And then how does this need rotated? It is neat, hamster. The way they have. The changes done are very interesting. How your next milestone always builds upon what you've done before. And sometimes in a way that makes you have to think about things. There was one that I had made earlier. There was one that I had made earlier that. At first glance, looked like it was going to be a considerable amount more work to make the additional shape that I needed to stack on top of what I had already built. But I realized that simply by changing the order of two of my stackers, it made the opposite shape. So at first glance I was expecting a lot of work, but it ended up being simply routing two conveyors to different locations. Now the stackers here are being very slow. I think we can do better than this. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I was thinking of changing around how I did the output conveyors here to be more like they were done over here, which gives this nice highway look instead of spreading out here. But I do not think it really matters. And then I would be having this one on the far left come in for no reason. The cutters down here working that make the little spark when they destroy things. But from a distance you just see all these little sparks go. And it makes you think that work is really being done. Electricity is flowing. I am not entirely sure how to speed things up from here. I do believe I need more cutters. These are simply not enough. I probably need 3 per chain instead. And then I still need 6 stackers per. So the stackers are already working at half speed. So if I wanted this to go full speed, thank you, I would need 4 more cutter lines. And twice as many stackers. The stackers are working at half speed. And the cutters are working at 2/3 speed. Yes, 2/3 speed. Which means the stackers are what is really holding us up. So there's no point in speeding up the cutters. Because even if I did, they would still be capped by the stacker speed. It would be nice if I could get it a bit more saturated though. Period. That will mess us up a little bit. But that will speed up the top gets to be a little bit more saturated now, which will speed up our stackers. I shame that even now the stackers are simply not working at maximum efficiency. I wonder if it would be more evenly distributed. I think doing that should at least make it more evenly distributed on top. Which assures the bottom is going to do less waiting around. Hello, Blaze. I think the top will always be slower than the bottom, because the top has to go through a rotation. But if it is at least evenly distributed, then there is less weighting on the bottom. Can we do something similar down here? So doubling the rotators means that one line is not waiting on all. One entire line is not waiting only on the rotator. So that should speed up the top as well. And then more evenly distributing it should help deal with the saturation on the bottom. I do not know if that really matters in the end. But we are working quite quickly. I think we are going to be done with this step soon. You can work. Increasingly fast, especially in getting these milestones done. If you build larger, And this is one reason why I had not been doing so earlier. Instead, only using sometimes half. Next half of what my output could be, and I even had completely unused resources off to the side. I feel like making buses that large and trying to orchestrate everything around them would have been a bit complicated for the tasks that were needed at the time. But here, when you merely need 2,000 of one thing, you can funnel everything in. Oh my. Oh, now this is going to be very much trouble. So our circles are done. Or squares are not. So what we need are rotators here. And then these all need to go through a second section like this. Do not output yet, I'm not doing this right. So those are all getting rotated to the right, those are to the left. And we are indeed outputting all squares. I am wondering what could be done. I think the sheer scale of this build would prevent me from worrying about the efficiency of each square. Now this is going blue on the bottom. And the entire circuit now all goes to one place. This is 8 inputs now all being put into one. Which is a bit much. There is no way that this will work as efficiently as it could. Red is already backing up considerably. Red will always back up beyond blue though, because blue is going through an additional stacking step. And I do not have enough stackers to keep that efficient. And yes, we are actually losing half of our blues. It is not a one-to-one. How many blues does it take to make a square? It takes 4 blues to make one square. And it takes 2 reds to make one square. So blue is already working at half the efficiency of red. And then it is also going through additional stackers, of which I do not have enough to be fully efficient. I can do other things to speed up blue though. Because the input is already being limited. And it is at least working efficiently. It is not backing up. So what would I need to do? If I wanted to make it more efficient, I could probably use a swapper somewhere along the line. So I am thinking I'm going to drag one over just so I can experiment. So if I split this and rotate that one once, and then that will swap them like that. And then we just get rid of that one. No, don't get rid of that one too. Oh well. And that makes one solid blue square. That removes everything that we did here. This small thing replaces this entire circuit. Well, 4 of these would. Maybe more to keep efficiency. We will see how quickly this works compared to red. Actually, I could do much the same thing with red, I think. Thank you. Let us do an experiment. And that removes all of this. I think at this point about the only thing that I could do to realistically speed this up is just make more of these. Red is still going to be more efficient than blue. But we have the same input and output. And I actually think they are operating at the same efficiency now. I think they are working at the same speed. So anything that I would want to do to one, I would also have to do to the other to speed it up. At which point I would mostly just be doubling both of these. I can only fit one more on that side, so the other three will have to go over here. That is going to back up very quickly. Oh no, I do not have enough space. Blue is completely full. This will take a moment. I want to see how this works. They should all be equal and working very efficiently. This is working very quickly now. And nothing is backing up, which means I am feeding all 4 conveyors directly in. Thank you. Can I use A? I swipe a blank half piece. Using the swiper and use it like a union. I don't particularly see why not. You can move an empty half over. If you just wanted to move half of one piece onto half of an empty other half. It is strictly halves though, so if you had only a quarter of a piece on one side, and you wanted to add it to 3/4 of a piece on the other, you could not. It will move empty halves though, which is very much something to keep in mind. And this one tool did take a lot of research to unlock. But it has. It has replaced what used to take me, as we saw before, several tires of stackers. It is possible now to make flat shapes without using stackers. Which speeds things up considerably, and it only takes 2 rows to match a full conveyor. This is considerably more efficient than you saw what I was even doing before. with the 2 or 3 stackers on top of the cutters and whatnot at the bottom, and how much that was slowing down blue. And now blue is moving at the same speed as red, in a fraction of the space. And here nothing is backing up. I do not know how I could make this more efficient. I have 4 solid conveyors coming in and they are all working at full speed. Zoom out on the highway. The inputs are not at full speed, only 1 layer is going into it. I am not entirely sure what you mean. I suppose there are enough squares here I could make this again around the corner and add a second highway. Otherwise, I am unsure what you mean. Thank you. Oh, so you can have things go on the top layer. I do not have enough inputs for that. I suppose that would be, as I said before though, where if I wanted to I could add a second one of these, and maybe tie the one space belt to the other on the upper layer, which would send twice as many in. Then I would have to build this entire thing again 1 layer up. Which would be difficult. What if I put garbage on the top layer? Oh, you cannot. I would just have to conveyor them all off somewhere else and then lower them down to the bottom layer. I do not think that would necessarily be difficult. Oh my. Oh, I do not actually need these here. These can turn around. Now I just don't know what to do about this one. How in the world do I solve this problem? If I had a third layer, I could use it. And as far as combining them goes, I am also thinking that that would overtax my stackers. So what I would probably end up doing is just making the stacker combination on the side. I would have to get my red over there somehow though. And I still need to figure out this. As a large portion of the machine simply does not work. It would be lovely if this would just dump it off the edge. Well, I suppose an easy solution. There we are. Now we can move the reds over and we can worry about how we are going to combine them. Though I fear by the time I finish this, that it is not going to matter. And that should be working now in producing us the correct shapes. It does say as much. And they have begun arriving. Now the next question is how we are going to get them over there. I would rather not run them the entire way around. But otherwise it looks like we are splitting it. because I simply cannot get more than 2 here. And now we just have to get the reds over to the top over there somehow. Oh dear, this is going to be problems. That did not actually solve the problem. Oh, just in time to finish. Just in time to finish right when we doubled our production. Admittedly, this is not as elegant a solution. And now we have to deal with fluids and painting. And this is going to be an entire new ordeal. I actually feel like there is a large number of these that we can do right now, even without painting. We cannot do green without painting. So perhaps down to here. Yes, and then below that is require painting. Oh, and then after that comes trains. The end is when we make a quantum accelerator. Well, we have our work cut out for us. We have no research points, but there are more now that I think we can buy. No, only up to wire. Oh, but it has unlocked painting for us, which we will probably want to speed up quickly. Oh, I can continue producing them in order to raise my operator level. And I think this is the first time that I can do that. So it is actually quite good that we doubled production. We can fill this quite quickly now. Well, I believe that I'm going to let this run for a little while and level that up. In the meantime, I think it is fair that both me and Naka get some rest. Do look forward, we are going to be streaming tomorrow at the usual time. I do not know what Naka plans to do though. Good night everyone. Thank you for keeping me company.